here's another League of Legends game coming your way, this time with Zack in the jungle. This is a post-game commentary, and I'm not going to be sticking around for the full 40 minutes, I'm going to clock out partway.
I never skip breakfast.
But I grabbed Zack here for reasons I'll explain in a moment. But for our matchups, we have Vel'Koz mid against Ezreal. We have Cho'Gath top against Darius. Karma partnered with Jinx bot against Kalista and Thresh. And I'm Zack in the jungle against Nocturne. So if you notice, we actually match up there. Person in first position is against the mid lane, second position top, fifth jungle, etc. So this is the first game of the new patch, I believe. It may not be the first one I upload, we'll see. But Zack, the reason why I chose him as the Cinderhulk I think was nerfed. I haven't been paying attention to the patch notes lately, and that's a theme you'll notice throughout the week, depending on how many games I actually upload. So we can check when I actually buy the Cinderhulk, but that was the main reason why I bought it. As for Zack, reason for him is, or reason why the Cinderhulk changes to the main reason why I played Zack here. But as for Zack himself, he hasn't changed as far as I know, but people have been asking why has he fallen off the radar and stuff like that, and that's pretty much why I decided to play as him. He is one of my favorite junglers, so I have no problem trying to display his strength. And before I go into how everything works, I'll explain the moveset. Cho'Gath, I forgot who it was he was pre-made with, but we determined he was the weakest player and in need of the most help. And as a result, I'm going to be playing accordingly, so expect a lot of moves on Darius to try to send him back. But anyway, Zack. Passive is Cell Division. Whenever you use a move, like your spells, a piece of Zack will break off. You can collect the piece for 4% of his max health regained. The secondary effect of his passive is that upon dying, he splits into 4 bloblets. If the 4 bloblets are left alone, he will regenerate, not dying, and the passive goes on cooldown for 5 minutes. The amount of health he has when he does regenerate depends on the health of the bloblets. And one thing I should explain is that the death timer for your passive is 7 seconds flat. The whole bloblet movement is purely cosmetic. Even if, like, say, a Syndra grabbed a bloblet and ran away, it would have no effect. As in, it wouldn't delay you. She could still throw it, I guess, for a little bit more damage to reduce your health, but that's kind of it. Q is... I can't remember what the move is called, but it's a stretchy punch type move. So it's a short-range linear skill shot, and I can't really emphasize the short range enough. Does a little bit of damage, and most importantly of all, it inflicts a slow on the enemy, which helps you secure some of your ganks. Since Zack doesn't really have a lot of damage, especially the way I'm going to be building him here, I just need utility. I'm all about causing trouble, particularly indirectly here.
Put some spring in your step.
W is Unstable Matter. This is Zack's clear move. You max it second, the way I play him. It does a flat amount of damage as well as percent HP damage. There is a cap for minions and monsters, so you can't just nuke down the Baron or Dragon with it, but it still does take nice pieces out of them. The move, I think the cooldown goes down by 1 second whenever you pick up a bloblet, and it has a very short cooldown in the first place, which is why it's his clear move. E is Elastic Slingshot. It's a channel type ability where you have to CC yourself. Basically, you root yourself in place and you charge. The further you charge, the further you go. When you hit an enemy, it's a 1 second stun / knockback type move. Yasuo is able to ult off of it, so if you're partnered with Yasuo, you can try to set things up with that or your ult. It's up to you. The range on the Elastic Slingshot goes up with the rank of the move, which is why I will be maxing that first. Additionally, the cooldown does adjust. I think it goes down like 2 seconds every rank of the move. And as a result, you can definitely turn Zack into a fairly mobile menace. It doesn't hurt that he's extremely tanky in the first place. And here comes the first gank. So I'll pick up with the ult in a moment. So right here I wanted to make sure that their jungler wasn't around, and I also wanted to let the potion tick a bit, because I knew I was going to pop my passive here. You can just look at their health and realize there's no way out of this for me unless I just let my passive go. So Darius ignited me from the look of things. I end up taking first blood due to red buff. Cho wastes his flash, sadly. And my passive gets popped, but there's no threat to me here. The ignite does not carry over, and most importantly of all, one thing I should point out is that the Noxian Guillotine does not reset off of me. So I'm an extremely good pick into Darius, and he will make that mistake from time to time. Okay, picking up where I left off, your ult is Let's Bounce. Basically, you just jump around, dealing damage, displacing enemies. You're able to use unstable matter as you bounce, so you can actually do a deceptive amount of damage, and you're really good at taking down tanks with that move. So as you basically toss them around inside of your ult, you can just keep popping unstable matter and take out percentages of their HP, and if they don't have any MR, well, it sucks to be them. So you can see Zac is a very secure jungler. I managed to take all of those camps with just the 2 potions, and I probably didn't even need to use the second potion if not for the whole passive getting popped thing to do a gank. And I am going to pick up the Bammy Cinder here because I do have my E to serve as a gap closure. The boots are a little bit lower priority as a result. Next thing about Zac, he is resourceless of sorts if you didn't notice. He doesn't have mana, energy, or anything else like that. Instead, he uses health as a resource like Vladimir, Mundo, and Mordekaiser. All of his moves, except for his ult, have a fixed cost of 4% of your current health. So by using those costs combined with the 4% max HP regen on your passive, Zac is very, very secure in the jungle. He really shines there, and it's just a shame he doesn't get played more, but if he did, he'd probably get nerfed, so I don't mind. So right here you can see Cho'Gath did die. He didn't actually go back when we killed Darius, and as a result he had an item disadvantage, and now he's dead.
Put some spring in your step.
So the enemy jungler is Nocturne, and he goes for a weird build here that I don't think I've ever seen before. Namely, he goes Trinity Nocturne. The reason why this is not a good idea is Nocturne does not have forgiving cooldowns by any means. Every single one of his moves has a pretty significant cooldown, and Nocturne himself relies on auto attacks for most of his damage. So, going back to what I said a second ago about Zac being sort of resourceless, that means the blue buff only gives me CDR, which means I'm better off just giving this to Vel'Koz, let him spam like hell, and then I don't have to worry about mid lane if he knows what he's doing, which he kind of does, as you watch. I'm not entirely sure about the whole Rod of Ages Vel'Koz thing, but he kind of makes it work. So, if I'm correct, the Cinderhulk had its damage reduced in terms of like what it does to anything other than jungle creep. But the trade-off is that it does double damage to jungle creep, so you do clear kind of quickly still. It's just it's a lot less useful in the team fights, but it's still damage, don't underestimate it.
I'm not as squishy as I look.
As for right here, I'm just trying to work my way up top. I figure I can give Cho another gank. You can see that Jinx has very little trouble for the most part, and as a result I don't have to worry about her. The Nocturne is fairly inept, I guess, and he kind of pays for it. So right here I'm staying in the tri-brush because I'm hoping, hey Cho, go clear out that pink ward so I don't have to waste the whole rooster, or chicken buff. But when he makes it clear he has no interest in going for the pink ward, I have to go ahead and waste my buff, clear this out, and sacrifice the element of surprise. As a result, no gank is possible here for the near future. One thing that, well, I can take this, which will allow me to get back to mid in the event I need to, or make an escape from the enemy jungler. If you notice, my passive is not off cooldown just yet. It's getting there, but Darius is still kind of dangerous, and to make things worse, he should be hitting level 6 if he's not there already, which means Noxian Guillotine is at his disposal.
Put some spring in your
Plus it also doesn't help Cho'Gath is pushing that lane like mad, but nothing I can do about that. I don't really play enough Darius to know whether or not he has trouble last hitting on the turret, so it may not be an issue for him with Cho pushing like that. I just can't say.
really use a snack right now.
So it looks like Darius is pushing out a bit. Should have given enough time for him to start dropping his guard after the whole brush getting cleared out. And I was thinking he kind of has this warded, but the way he's moving, I'm not totally sure. Anyway, my passive is back up, so if I go down, it doesn't really matter. Good news is, he goes down to Cho. So Cho gets to go snowballing, I get to get out of here with my passive still intact. And I can go ahead and use, I think I go for the golems.
There's plenty of me to go around.
So 4% current HP, and I get to pick up the block with 4% max back. It's kind of close here, but I've had worse. So I have enough gold now to put the components together. It looks like I actually have enough for a needlessly large rod if I wanted to go that route. And you can pause the text right there if you want to read it. I can barely see it on my screen. Now is the time for boots. I can go ahead and pick up a Kindle gem for health and 10% CDR.
Let's bounce.
Oh yeah, since this is the new patch, that of course means Callista has been nerfed. She's not as mobile as she used to be. I don't know how annoying she is. I haven't had the chance to play against her a lot, so jury is still out on whether or not she's in a decent spot. To be honest, I always liked her idea on paper, but when it came to practice, she wasn't really the type of AD carry I went for. So I can go ahead and take care of those creeps under the tower. I get to collect the gold, the EXP, and it doesn't go to waste. Sadly, that does mean the lane's going to push out ever so slightly, but nothing I can really do about that. So the timing here is just right for us to go ahead and get this. Yeah, Karma just said that as well. And you can see that this is not really a threat. Zach can solo this, but the thing is, it takes him a long time to do so. And you can see, even with Karma's help, it still takes a while. We was kind of hoping Jinx would help out a bit more, but she didn't really get around to it. Just like last time, blue buff is just CDR to me. If I go to Vel'Koz, it's CDR, mana regen, and basically a fun toy to make him all the more annoying for Ezreal. One thing we can talk about is why I'm not trying to focus mid. Due to Arcane Shift, Ezreal is just a pain in the ass to try to lock down. And I don't have a hard CC move like Warwick, Skarner Suppress, or anything fun like that. As a result, my hands are kind of tied when it comes to Ez. But the thing that I can do on the other hand is stack a little bit of armor. Because they have an 80 carry, well, 80 carry going AP carry mid. But I believe his Q is still physical damage, which most Ezreal spam anyway. Not totally sure, I should look into that. But the big camp that I want to clear and try to have the bonus up most often here is the frog buff, the toadstool. Since the damage off that scales from health, I can stack health on Zach, which he really likes to do. Branduin's Omen, Spirit Visage, Cinderhulk. All of those gives him HP, and as a result, did they get my passive? Yeah, they just got my passive. So I got an assist off Thresh, Karma got the kill on Callista. All in all, I benefit from that, but my passive is back on cooldown. So where was I at? Oh yeah. So health on Zac. Branduin's Omen, Spirit Visage are pretty core on him. Then you couple the Cinderhulk with its health bonus. Those alone give him a large amount of HP to work with. And from there you can go into more specialized forms of defenses if you need them. You can go for Thornmail for armor, Abyssal Scepter for now for MR, or you can go Banshees depending on what exactly the enemy has. And if you want to know the item that I go for here, I go for the Zerat Portal. And the reason for that is just it augments our siege. It allows me to just drop that on a lane and force the enemy to respond to it while we pressure elsewhere. Or I could pressure the lane myself and basically force someone to come over to me where they are not exactly ideal. And from this point on, there's going to be periodic lag spikes in the game. Well, sort of periodic. There's going to be a couple here and there. For the most part, I don't think they're too detrimental this game, but they're still kind of annoying. So I can go ahead and pick up the upgraded trinket that's going to allow us to expand our vision coverage, and I'm getting even closer to getting the Spirit Visage. Of course, if you've seen the other Zack videos, you'll know why I do that, but for those that don't, Spirit Visage augments all sources of healing, increasing them by 20%. I think it's 20. That includes your bloblets, so you can really just heal in a very short amount of time by collecting your bloblets when you have a Spirit Visage. Plus the 10% CDR is always nice, so I can slingshot more and just bounce around.
Put some spring in your step.
I definitely like seeing Zack clear. AoE junglers are fun, but few and far between for the most part, I think. We haven't had any lately. Rek'Sai kind of started out as one, but these days I don't really know what the hell Riot wants out of her. So the Skull Crab goes down anyway. I don't know what exactly killed it. It looks like I do have red buffs, so it might have been that. It also could have been the machete damage, maybe. Right here you can see Callista. I don't know if she actually just stopped moving or if it was just lag that had her displayed stationary on my screen. That's one of the reasons why I can't make a judgment call on whether or not she's over-nerfed or not. It also doesn't help I never liked the character in the first place. Well, I already explained that in that one video. Good idea on paper, practice, problems. As for this, we're trying to look for Ez. He went up towards the Baron Pit, I believe, and he gets to live. Lucky him. Nocturne, on the other hand, he's a bit of a bad spot. So Vel'Koz fired his laser, and the spook was no more. And their blue buff just spawned. Since I had to take ours last time, I can go ahead and give this one to Vel'Koz. With the Rod of Ages, he definitely needs help with his mana regen. I think this is my first step. I want to try to flash the wall, but the box slowed me down. It was just out of range. Had I made it, I probably would have actually gotten to safety, but I fail. Oh well. Changes to Callista, I imagine her build has changed, but I don't know what's really optimal for her.
I could really use a snack right now.
And before I go ahead and clock out, the one thing that I will tell you about is that after a certain point I do spend a large amount of time in the jungle just because we have them so far on the ropes that they have trouble leaving their base. And since I want to stay relevant and I can't exactly siege necessarily, I have to spend some time farming up the whole portal before I can start a siege. So, Callista down, Vel'Koz gets that. And our Beholder is definitely becoming something to behold. So, I don't know what Thrush is hoping for, since I don't actually have Smite. He had a chance to steal it, but it's not like it was a long wait. Cho'Gath also has Feast, so yeah, he can do it that way. Cho'Gath one is better earlier on since it's a flat 1000 damage earlier, while Smite has to get to level 18 to do a flat 1000 true damage.
Just another day.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Okay, yeah, this is as good a time as any for me to go ahead and clock out. So from here, the game will be just its default sounds. And I will go ahead and do my outro now. I'm a Hero White. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.
Mom always said I for my age.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Put some spring in your step.
Your turret has been destroyed.
I'm done with this. How's it going? Everybody's a critic. I may bend, but I don't break. I'm not as squishy as I look. Mom always said I was good for my life. I'm flexible.
An enemy has been slain.
Let's bounce.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Put some spring in your step.
An enemy has been slain. You have slain an enemy. destroyed a turret. Rampage.
One will go round. Fighting is in my blood. My good.
Shut down. An enemy has been slain.
Why, thanks. Suit. I never skip breakfast. Just another day on the job. How's it going?
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
put some spring in your step. A snack right now. Why, thanks. I do work out. Fighting is in my blood. I mean, my goo. I may bend, but I don't break. Just another day on the job. Everybody's a critic.
Has destroyed the turret.
I made bed.
a turret. Enemy killing spree. Down. Killing spree.
Why, thanks. I do. On someone your own. Back off, pal. Let's bounce.
Has been destroyed.
There's plenty of me going around.
Has destroyed an inhibitor. Ally